Yo guys, what's up? In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to build a React.js anime website. This website allows you to discover top-rated and popular anime based on your mood. Here's what we'll cover. How to use REST API with dynamic parameters, working with React hooks, implementing conditional rendering, and adding pagination logic. On the front end, we'll use React.js styled with Tailwind CSS and DaisyUI for pre-built responsive components. For data, we'll leverage Gcon, the unofficial MyAnimeList API, through Axios. By the end of this video, I'll show you how to deploy the site for free with Vercel, so you can share it with your friends and family. If you watched this video before and want to skip ahead, check the timestamps in the description. Before we begin the project, it is beneficial to gain a solid understanding of the fundamental concepts of REST APIs. This foundational knowledge will help us avoid unnecessary complexity later on. In the description, I prepared the practice project for you guys. You can just click on that and you will be led here. And I want you to go to code here and click on download zip, or yeah, just download zip. And I want you to click on it, then extract here, extract all, then extract all here. Then I want you to Control X and put it in the folder that where you want it to. I'll put mine right here just to organize it a little bit. And then I want you to open your VS Code terminal, and I want you to make a new tab, a new window right here, new window. In the new window, I want you to go to this file that you downloaded, and then I want you to drag and drop it. And after that, I want you to right click on it, open integrated terminal, and then I want you to open it up. And as you can see, we have here a two folder. The Anime REST API client is the front end, and the Anime REST API server is the back end. The backend is already fixed. You just have to modify the client, and I'll be teaching you all the what are the REST APIs and how to actually implement it here. We just have to first download all the dependencies. So I want you to click on this server, open integrated server, and I want you to click on npm I to install the dependency. I want you to also click on this, open integrated terminal. I want you to also click npm I here to also download all of those dependencies. Now that the REST API server is done, we will have to command nodemon index.js. Now that it is running, we will click on this follow link right here, and it should lead you to this hello anime server. This is just a simplified server that I made. It's not a 100% like the official MyAnimeList server, but it's just a good context for understanding it. I think the first one, let's go to the route API/anime to get all the listed anime that I put here. This is just a simple JSON file, as you can see here. I think you guys should also use Postman for this one. This is just, like you can easily understand what is going on in the JSON format instead of this. It's a little bit, it's simple, but it's not the best format. If you don't have Postman installed, you can just go to Postman here and download the desktop version, the desktop Postman, then download it. After that, just search for Postman here in your Postman agent app. Click on open, and I want you to click at this sidebar right here, and then right click and then click on open Postman. Then I want you to go to my workspace, then go to add sign here and just click on that one, and there you go. Let's see if the front end is done. Okay, in the front end, the client side, I will write npm front dev. Now that we have both of that, this is the front end and this is our client and this is our back end. Your task right now is to make all this function work: the get, post, put, patch, and delete. Currently, if you look at the client side here, Up.JSX, and if we look at the components, we have all the proper things that we need. But first, we have to understand what the hell is REST API? REST API is a web service that allows different applications to communicate using standard HTTP methods. The following are get, post, put, delete, and patch. It manages resources identified by unique URLs and typically uses JSON file, that's what we're using right now, or sometimes XML for data exchange. REST API are stateless, meaning each request must contain all necessary information. Let's first tackle this get route. What is get route? The get route's purpose is to retrieve data from the server. For example, when you want to get all the anime lists, or maybe you want to get list of all the users, you can go to this route, which is the get slash users, or in our case, it's get slash API slash anime to get all the anime. But if you want to get a specific one, you can also just type here user slash one, which will get just one. It will return one ID depending on the anime that you want. In our server, this one, get API anime. It's a very simple one that fetches all the anime list array and turns it into JSON file. So that's just what it does. And yeah, so how do we implement it here? Let's go to our front end React and see how we can implement it. So let's go to get anime. So currently when we click on get, it doesn't do anything. What it should do is when we click on get, it should display all the anime here at this side. So if we look at inspect, when we click on that, it only console logs get anime. How can we get it so that every time we click on get, it will display all the anime just like this one? I think the first one is the connection. To understand this more, make sure that all of these are like correct. When you go to this HTTP localhost, I made it so that this is the same as the backend. So the localhost on this route right here is the same as this route. So up anime API. And then if we put this one in the Postman, I think it's better if we use Postman here. Control V on that and get. You will get all the possible lists of animes here. Since we already have that done, we just need this part right here. So every time that this one is being clicked, it's just console logging instead of getting the actual response. But we first have to understand Up JSX. So what the hell is going on here? Okay, so what the hell is going on here? So the first part here is you got the API URL, and then we got the constant, the form data. This contains whatever the input is, like the ID, name, or rating. Then the response, which is currently the what should be being displayed. Currently it's blank, but after you click on that, the set response will be changed on whatever the result is of the route that you picked. And these are just the labels here, just the input. We got the rating, name, and then the ID. And then for this one, these are all like buttons, right? It will first take in a prop of a form data, which is this part, right? It contains the name, the rating, and the ID. So it will pass it in here. And the set response, which is currently blank, but this one, after clicking on it, it will return a certain JSON file. Next up is the API URL, which is currently this part, our URL, which is the URL backend. So let's go to the get anime. To get this one, we first simply have to use a try and catch bracket first. Then error. This is the basic structure for now. The first thing that we want is to maybe have a console log for the error that we're getting. Set and use that set response, which is currently blank, into whatever error that we want. But before turning it to that, we have to like make it a JSON stringify first. This will turn it into something readable instead of a object. We're gonna use Axios here to make a constant result and await Axios.get and use that API. Then before we set it into that one, let's just try to console log it. Console log result. Let's go here and invite. Let's try to like get it. And as you can see, it should console log all the JSON file that we have. And then the next thing is we want to do the same for this error. If you can do that, you can just go ahead and do that, but I'll just type it right here. So JSON stringify, we only want the data. So I'll just put it here, Control V. Now when we click on get, it should display all the anime lists in a JSON format. Now that's done, the next thing that we want is to do the post one. Before we modify the front end, I think it's better if we understand what's going on here in the backend first. We go to our backend, index.js post part. What is post? Its purpose is to create a new resource on the server. This may be a new user, a new anime list, or just something new. In our case, this time we want to add a new anime and rate it. the post route here basically requires a body of name and rating as in the JSON format. It requires this as a JSON body. So you can see right here, let's change this body. So just copy it, see, then Control V, remove this bracket. We need to remove the ID because it doesn't require that. Now we're gonna use the post. Make sure that it matches here in the backend. Now we have anime and rating. And then the next up, this next ID will just create an ID for it depending on the length of the array, and then it will just +1 on it. And then this new anime is like our current content of what that we want to add, and then it pushes it into this array that we made right here. Now let's test if it's working. I'll add here maybe bleach, and I'll make it a 5, and make sure that this one is on post, and then send it. As you can see, we are returned with the ID for name, which is bleach, and rating of 5. And currently, it's being added here. So if we get all of that, we should be able to see Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan, and Bleach. And Bleach is that thing that we inputted, right? How do we add that logic into our React frontend? In the post anime, the first thing that we want is to probably get the form data. That's this one. We want to get maybe the anime ID and rating, and let's first do that. Try and catch. Just copy this part and then get anime, so we don't have to type it that much. Post, then Control V here. Then I'll keep that one, and then let's try to console log that form data first, which is the current value of this prop, to see and understand what is going on under the hood. If you look at that one and go to this console, all right. Let's look at this inputs here, and let's say we'll type another one, which is Tokyo, and then the rating is currently, let's say 8, and then we click on post. Then we'll have the input of ID, name, and rating, which has this corresponding value. But what we want is only the name and rating. So how do we modify this so that we'll only have that form in ID? So I think let's first make a constant, and this constant will contain the anime's data right then, and it will take in only the name and the rating. This is the requirement in our backend, right? It has to have a name and rating. But what is the content of that name and rating, right? So we'll get it from this form data. Form data, and then if you want to access it specifically, just type dot, then name, and then on this part as well, it will get that form, that data, then dot rating. Now, if you try to console log this one again, anime data, just to understand it even more, let's try to post it. We'll only have both of those and not the ID. So now that's done. We want to use Axios again to access that API. So post Axios API, but this time it will take in an argument, which is the body, right? Which is the JSON body in the Postman. So we'll type something like animates data, and then we want to also see if it's successful. So we want the set response to be equivalent to that result data. Result data. Now let's try and see if it will be added here. So post. All right. Before we actually click on post, guys, you have to check the URL here. It should be axios.post, not axios.get. Yeah, it is the same thing in the backend. So just make sure of that. So if we try again, post. Now we have Tokyo and rating is 8. And that's, if you get all of it, this is the bleach that we added in the Postman, and this is the Tokyo that we added using this client, which is the front end. Now let's implement put. What is put? Its purpose is to update an existing resource in the server. I think you guys are familiar with this one. This is basically edit. If you want to edit a certain rating or maybe an anime name, or edit a certain details of a certain user or client, this is the thing that we'll be using. But take note that when using put, you have to actually update all of it. So in the Postman here, let's use put. We'll be still using this route. If you look at index.js, put is right this one. Okay, so it will take in the parameter of the ID that we want to edit, as well as the change in both name and rating. Take note of this, name and rating. So if we get on route again, Let's see what we have. We have all of this. For example, we want to change the rating of bleach to be higher. So let's click on put, and I'll add the body for that. I'll just copy this part, then Control V. So we want to change the rating, or maybe 8, something like that. I forgot, guys. We need to put the params, the right ID, right here instead of the actual body. So we'll put here the 4, which is the current ID of that bleach. Okay, as you can see, guys, now it is changed. How do we implement this in the put anime list? You guys can pause this video and actually try it and see if you can. But for those of you guys just who don't want to just follow along the solution. So what we're gonna do is copy the post part here. Since it's very similar to it, I'll just copy it and put it in this route. Now, the first thing that I want to change is this part. So change this one, instead of post will be a put route. And the second thing is, since this part is the URL ID, which is this one, right? So for example, so this is the API URL. What we want is to also want some sort of the dynamic thing here, wherein whatever the user input will change. But we also know that in this form data, we have the ID. So what we'll do is we'll just set it here. So to do that, I'll just use dynamic dynamic indexing to use both JavaScript and the string at the same time. So here, curly braces, $, and then a forward slash, and then just copy this one, then Control V, then here will be the form data dot ID, and that's basically it. For example, we want to change the name of this Tokyogul into Tokyogul RE. You can just specify the rating of the ID, which is 5, change it into RE, and then maybe if you want to also change the rating to 4, you can just click on put, and as you can see, it is now updated. If you get all of it, we got Tokyogul RE, rating of 4, and the bleach is changed the rating from 5 to 8. This is from the Postman backend to test it. But for example, what if we just leave this blank? For example, I want to edit this one, but it's too bothersome, so I just wanna edit, for example, the name and the anime name, and I don't want to edit the rating. I just want it to remain the same. When you click on put, it will actually make it blank, and it will not remember whatever the previous value is. And that's when we're gonna use patch. Okay? What is patch exactly? If you're familiar with put, patch is almost the same. Patch means basically it like partially updates an existing resources in the server. For example, when you want to change only the anime name and not change the rating, right? That's when patch will be needed. So how do we do that in patch? Again, you can just pause this video and actually try it for yourself. So you can go here, and this is the solution now. So in patch here, I'll probably see first the index.js, see what's happening, right? Under the hood, it's almost the same as the update button, right? But this time we have conditionals here. This means that if name exists, it will update name. But if rating exists, then it will just update rating. What this means is basically you can just make it blank. You can make rating blank, or maybe make name blank, depending on what you want, and it will change depending on the only things that you want to change. Alright, now let's put that into practice. For example, let's try to get all of it first. So I'll click on get here, get all of that. Okay. What we're currently getting is all of this, but this is not right. So I want to update this rating, but I don't want to type in all the name, the rating. I don't want to type the name because it's too long, right? So let's just type in the ID, which is equivalent to 5, and then get the rating and update it into 3. But we didn't specify what type of name it is, and we're gonna use patch to basically send that. So 5 here. Actually, I'll always forget this one. Let's just remove this one. You just need to update the rating of it, and when you click on send, as you can see, the name of it is still there, but the rating is the only thing that's changed. Okay, if we apply it here again in our patch, it's basically the same as put. So we'll just copy this one, Control C, Control V. Just want to change, instead of put, it's patch right here. This one is basically the same since we're just getting, maybe this one is blank, maybe this one is blank, but the backend server is handling it for us since we're using patch. So let's test it again. Let's get all of it first. And as you can see, it updated. If, for example, I want to change the Attack on Titan rating from 9.5 to actually 10. So let's type that. But, like since Attack on Titan is too long as a name, so I will not type it. I'll just change the rating to 10. So this one is blank. If we use put, name of the ID3 will be blank as well. But since we're gonna use patch, it will just update the rating and not affect the other fields, which is the name or maybe other description of it. So let's get all of it. There we go. Attack on Titan rating to 10. Then we updated DocuGul from non-existent rating to actually 3. Now, how do we make the delete function work? I guess you guys know this part. It's basically removing resources from the server. Maybe you want to delete an anime, you want to delete a client, or maybe you want to delete a user. Just click on it. Kind of the same with put and patch. But instead of providing input field, you just remove all of it. So we don't even need forms. To implement it here in our project, again, we're just going to copy paste the previous one since it's kind of the same. Remove that. We also don't need this one. Actually, we need the form data. We just don't want the animes data. The animes data. We'll also remove this part. We only want the routing of whatever ID that we're deleting. May that be 1, 2, or 3, or 5. So we'll just change here to delete, I think. Is it Axios.delete? Oh, it's actually delete. Axios.delete. Now, if we go back here in our Postman, click on delete as well. Maybe you want to delete the Tokugul RE, then just leave this one blank and just send it to a for no content found. And if you go to get, change this route, then click on send. Now we only have up until the ID of 4 and there's no ID of 5. So let's implement that. And let's say I want to delete the bleach part. I want to delete bleach as the anime here. So I'll type here the ID, which is 4. And I'll just click on delete. Nice. And then click on get. And as you can see, we don't have it anymore. Now that we know how RESTful APIs work, let's actually create the project. If you only came here to learn about function and API, you can download the front-end project in the description. Alright, now let's start the project. First of all, I would go ahead and open my VS Code, make a new window right here. If you don't know how to do that, just go to File and click on New Window, and this will pop a blank window will pop out. Next up, you just want to go to Open Folder, and you want to look for the folder that where you want it to be. I'll make a new folder which is How to API. Then I'll select on this folder. To easily navigate on this file, I'll just create a new txt. Any name will suffice here, and then I'll click on this and then open integrated terminal. After that, I will follow these steps right here. The first step would be to initialize a Vite React project. If you haven't installed Node, you have to install it first. So I will put it here. Then I'll name the project something like simple API anime. I'll use React for this one. I'll also use JavaScript. And then I'll simply run this command at the top right here. So cd simple API anime, then npm I, then I will run npm run dev, go to this localhost, check if the count is working, and let's proceed to the next step. The next step is to set up our Tailwind. So I'll go to this link that I provided in the description. I'll just click on this one, copy, Control C, Control V, and then I'll copy this content right here and navigate to the Tailwind config.js and paste it right here. Right after that, I will go to index.css and Control A and then backspace, then Control V on the needed Tailwind. Then next up, I'll install DaisyUI for the pre-built components. So I'll go here for the installation. Then I'll copy this, paste it here, I'll go to the ESM package, import it. So Tailwind config, import it here, then packages, plugins, then place it right here. Nice. If I run npm run dev, it should be, this is what it should look like. Yeah, something like that. Still need to change the Up DaisyUI. So I'll remove the constant. We'll remove all these unnecessary imports. Then in here, I'll remove all this boilerplate code and type hello world. Okay, nice. That's when you know the Tailwind is DCUI is working when they have the same theme. Now I also want to like change the theme here. So first of all, I'll make a button. Let's say I'll label it primary, something like that, and I'll name this class name of BTN, then BTN primary. There we go. And I want to customize this even more. So I want to change the theme. And to do that, you can go to DaisyUI theme customization. Just click on this link that I provided. Then in here, basically these are the themes that you can use. So I'll probably use the Dracula one. So I'll go here, copy this one, then go to DaisyUI and it'll be config. Then click on enter. Then I'll type the theme that I want, which is Dracula. And if I look at this one, now it should be pink, same as this one. If I click on this, as you can see, they're the same. But what I want is to customize this even more. I want the theme of the Dracula one, but I kind of hate how this button looks. I want it to be a different color. So we can, by scrolling down, you can customize it even more by going here. I mean, this one right here. You can customize existing themes by adding these parameters. I'll do something similar in the themes here. CUI themes. I'll backspace on the Dracula theme and then click on enter. And then I'll copy up until this bracket right here. So it's the 1, 2, 3, and then this 1, 2, 3 above. So I'll just paste on that. And as you can see, it is now changed. But let's say I want to use Dracula, right? As you can see, we have here the two placeholders. This is the name of the team, and then this is the existing team name. So you can just control D on that and change that to Dracula. And now we have something like this. But obviously we don't want blue, right? I have already custom colors provided in the documents here. This is how I want to customize it. These are just custom colors. So if you want to change whatever color you want, you can just go here in the Google and type something like color picker, something like that. And you can get the hexadecimal of that, copy it here, and then paste it here. As you can see, that's the color that I've chosen. But of course, it's up to you. So I'll just copy this one. I'll copy this require up until this primary. So I'll control V on this one and add asterisk. And no, not us. As you can see now, the theme is changed. For example, I want to also see how the secondary looks. So I'll add another button here in the JSX just to make sure before we start. Then secondary, second, there. And as you can see, both of the colors are changed. Now let's start building the actual website. To do that, we'll get a navbar first. I already have the link here. So in the SRC, I'll create a new folder, components. Then inside that, navbar.jsx, navbar.jsx, export default function. Then the name will be a navbar. Then here, then return it. And then add a template tag. Next up, I'll look for a navbar that I want to use. Maybe this one. I'll just use this one. So Control V, and we'll just render it here using the Up.jsx. I'll probably put it above. So I'll type it. So navbar. Then I want to use the arrow button and then just click on enter on the dot slash components navbar. So that way you don't have to type it. And then the next step would be to customize this navbar. I'll probably remove all the contents of this one right here. Okay. Then I'll probably also remove the SVG, this one, but I'll keep this one, the button circle. I'll also remove the second button. Okay. The next thing I'll do is change this one to the name of to the name of the website, which is to anime. And then I want to copy this first button and then put it at the start as well. So there we go. Okay, then the next thing that I want to do is to get the emojis and SVGs. So in here in the nav part, already have the emoji right here. So I'll put it right here at the front. And then for the SVG, I pick this home SVG. But you can probably pick something that's like a back button or something. But I'll pick this one. Then I'll change this color to white. Just copy that SVG, then paste it right here. Now, if you take a look at the website, let's localhost 5173, we should have this one. But as of right now, they have like different fonts, right? Obviously, we don't want that. So I'll go to my index CSS, actually to my app.css, and then I'll apply a root class. This means that if it is root, it will automatically apply to everything. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll add, first of all, to make everything center. Then since these are like too big for, actually to just change it, I'll just use classes, custom classes. So in the SVG, I'll add like a height, 20 pixels. Then on this emoji, I'll add something like a text 3XL, text 3XL, just to make it about just to make it bigger. Now, as you can see, we have a different color background for the navbar. I'll just add some sort of a custom color here. BG, let's change it to BG Slate pala. BG Slate 105. There we go. And then I'll also add some sort of a padding in the y-axis and to make it thicker, and then margin in the y-axis as well. And probably add a rounded 15 pixel to make sure it's consistent with the theme here. Then add a big shadow, XL. Alright. And to center it even more, I'll make a new class here in the app.css and name it center container. Container. There we go. And using the apply property, I'll just use the existing Tailwind classes. Maybe I want like margin X supposed to be automatic. Then on large screens, it will have a width 2/4. On medium screen, it would have a width of 3/4. There we go. And then lastly, the width, instead of being 100% on like the smallest screen, I'll just make it 95% REM or something like that. And then I want to apply it to my Navbar.jsx. Maybe here, center container. There we go. As you can see, it is now responsive that quickly. I'll remove these things here since I read tested that it's actually working. Next up is I'll add a mood filter.jsx something. Yeah, mood filter the JSX. Click on enter and then export default function mood filter. Then I'll add a return. Then I'll also add this one. I'll probably add an H1 tag for now and type something like discover. I'll just add a text from my website here. I'll just add it here. So discover top rated based on your mood. And then I'll probably add a P tag at the bottom to say something like this. How are you feeling right now? Then I'll customize this H1. So I'll add class name. I'll add margin Y. Then MX is supposed to be automatic. It is a grid. LG supposed to be a text 5XL on large screen. And then on mediums on the other screen, it's supposed to be just text 4XL. Then the font is just bold. Okay, I'll try to import this for now just to see how it looks like. So just type that and then mood filter. Looks perfect. And then but for now, I don't think it's responsive. So to make it even more responsive, yeah, I'll actually remove this MX Auto here. And then I'll just add a some sort of custom class just like this one. So I'll add something like mode center container. This one is exclusive for the mood filter container. So I'll apply this kind of similar styling and just probably make this one 3/5 and then on medium screen it will just be 3/4 as well, something like that. So that way it's just a little bit bigger. Then I'll go and get a grid style. I'll go to this one right here. Already have a grid ready for you guys. So you can just copy this default grid. Doesn't really matter. I'll just copy it. We'll just customize it here. We'll remove these tags. We'll also apply the yeah, we also forgot to apply it here. Mode center container. Copy this one. Apply it here as well. There we go. Then take a look at here. That's much better. Here in the grid, I'll add a button of some sort. Just a button for now. Then let's say hello world. Before styling it, I'll change this one. So class name, then type something like btn primary, just to see what's going on. This is one of the grid. And to make sure that you guys understand even more, I'll copy this line. So Control L, then Control C, then Control V, Control V, Control V, then V, 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 V. There we go. And another one. I know this is just like repeating code, but this is for the sake of testing it. What I want to do right now is to change the amount of rows depending on the type of screen that I'm in. Because yeah, sure, it's like kind of responsive right now, but it's a little too overwhelming. I kind of want it to like have different rows depending on the screen width. We'll go and change it just like how we changed this one. We'll use the LG property and add it here. So probably something like on large screen, it will have a grid of all columns. So I'll just type it here. LG grid of all columns. And then on other screens, it would have a grid of column of 3. There we go. So it's much more manageable. And then I'll add a margin Y of 6. I'll also change the gap since that's a bit of a gap sometimes. So instead of gap 4 for a large screen, I'll make it gap of 6 just to make it more appropriate. And then if we maximize that, there we go. And if we minimize it, it will become 3. So 3 columns. Then when it's a little bigger, there we go. It becomes 4 rows when the screen is big. That's how you do it. Obviously, we don't want this repeating code. What we want to show here are the moods, right? In my folder here, in the assets, I'll click on it and add a new file. The file will be named mood.js, and here I'll already have it prepared for you. If you're curious what these things mean, Basically, I've gone in, I've basically made this sort of filter. I tried to use the API to generate all the available genres, and these are all the genres that are available. So basically, what we're doing, how the function, how the app works, it's basically it's dependent on the type of genre. So if action, maybe you're feeling happy or something like that, or maybe gourmet, you're feeling hungry, like something like that. Then like sports, you're feeling active right now, and I just eliminated it and get the things that we need. I added extra stuff like isekai here. I only want it to be like the most used one or like the one that has most result. Since what we're doing is we're filtering it based on the top 7.5 and up rating. So of course it won't be that much, right? As you can see, this is the list right here. This is what is equivalent to it. Adventurous, you feel cheerful. If you're gloomy, you're probably like mystery. So if you go back and just copy this key value pairs, I also added some emojis, so it's much more vibrant. I'll copy that one, paste it here, and these are like the key value pairs. This is a customized one. Fear of missing out. Later on, this will be the function wherein it will customize it based on what is the best anime of the current year. So it will just be that button. Here in the filter, we obviously don't want this a lot of this. We don't want this. Make a new file, name it button.jsx, and I'll make a button component here that we can reuse throughout. So export default function, then button, then right here, then return, then this one right here. I'll probably add the button, then I'll add a class name of equivalent to btn, then btn, then primary. I probably want to add like a customized text here because if you're gonna use primary as of right now, I want this one to be a outline, right? So I add a btn outline for now. So btn outline, and then I probably want this one to be dynamic. So instead of title, I'll add a some sort of props here saying like text, something like that. So text, and I want to render it here in the mood filter. So I'll just use this one. I'll use that button that I made. We can reuse it later on. I'll use this object here to auto import it, and then pass in a text parameter, which is hello world. But if you would look at it right now, where if we're using it as a BTN outline, the text is not white. But when we hover to it, it's white. It's like weird CSS things here. The way that I override this one is I just added a custom p tag. So I'll just place it here, so the text. And then I'll add a class name here. Class name of text white. And as you can see, it override it right away. To customize it even more, like depending on the screen size, I also want to change the size of the text, and we can easily do that here. So first I'll add the LG text. It's a base size. Then on medium, it's obviously text MD. On other screen, it's text small. And then I want it to be bold as well. And maybe just to keep the consistency, I want it to be uppercase, all uppercase. Then I probably want to like in the future, I don't want it to be like always an outline. So I'll remove this BTN outline because maybe in the future, like in the next and the back button, I want it to just be a normal primary button. I'll just add it as a prop. And to do that, I'll use something like this one beside your number one keyboard. In your keyboard beside number one. Then I'll add this bracket stuff here. And then add comma. Oh wait, it's the other way around. It's JavaScript first. Then inside that, then I'll change this one as well. Then pass in another prop. Depending on the prop, it will change whether it is a btn outline or primary. So class name, yeah, let's just make this a class name prop. I'll add it as a prop right here. Class name, then comma. Make sure they have the same name and make sure they are inside this part right here. Maybe in the future, I also want to add an on-click property. On-click property. I'll copy this one and pass it in here in the button, and then pass it in as a prop, the same name. Then maybe in the future, like in the page tag, I want it to be like disabled at some point. So I'll also add a disabled tag here. Disabled. Control C, then Control V. And if you take a look at the mode filter again, then we pass in the parameter of class name. We can now say something like btn outline to change it. And now it can be dynamic. I know that was a lot, but trust me, it will be saving grace later on. Now that we have the mood.js right here, we want to like display it right here in the mood filter, right? But obviously we don't want to copy paste the same thing as before. We don't want that one, like what we did earlier. Obviously we don't want to do it like this, like Control C, then Control V. We don't want to be like that. What I'll do is import the mood from double, that's like two directories up, two folders, click on assets slash click on mood. And what we want is to iterate through this one and map it here in the button. And to do that, so I'll use in here in the mid filter, I'll actually make it a JavaScript first since it needs to read it as a JavaScript. Then object dot entries. Then I'll pass in the moods. Then map it using the key here and the value, which are the moods. And then here in the first parenthesis here, I'll pass in an arrow function, and it will take in the parameter. I'll just control X this one. Then it should have a key at first, so I'll add a div here, and then I'll pass in a key of the yeah, this key right here. So key, then control X here, control V, and then the value, which are the moods, should be right here. Value. There's supposed to be value. There we go. So we got like parentheses here, so it's not reading it as an actual JavaScript. But yeah, let's remove that. And that should be good. Let's try to refresh it. I see. Okay, guys, the mistake here is we actually need to return this one. Since currently this is just an object inside it, but it's not rendering anything. It'll just stay there. So we need to use this return property to render every single one of it using the JavaScript function. So and we should have it now. Okay, since these are like key value pair, it's saying that this is the key and this is the value. But obviously we want that to be different, so I'll just rename this into the mood, and this one is the genre. But obviously we want to be displayed. It's the genre here, then the mood right here. So let's take a look again, and as you can see, we have all of it. The bottom, I'll type something like maybe btn full here. No, width is full. There we go. Oh, nice. So make sure to add this one, guys, to make sure that every section here has a equal length. Okay, there we go. Mode filter is done. The next part is to make the content. So I'll make this one content list. Will be like the anime list or something like that. So export default function content list. Then there we go. In the content list, I'm gonna use a card for that. So I'll pick this one and use a card. Right, this one. Right here. This is the DaisyUI cards. You can just Google it and you'll be presented with options. I'll pick this one. Then control copy. Then control V here. Then again, tab. If you look at the white one, it's not yet rendering, but to make it render right away, we'll put it above this one. So content list, use the up down arrow. There we go. And obviously we want this to have like the same size as the navbar. So we'll use the content, the center, its center container. Yeah, something like that. So it's also dynamic. There we go. The first thing I'll do is to probably change this figure, image figure, and get something like a random YouTube channel, random YouTube, to get a random YouTube video. Just click on the video, showing you how to build a, and then click on copy embedded code, then Control V here. This is just a sample. You don't have, we'll manipulate it later on, but now that's what it should look like. And then is it dynamic? As you can see, it's still not dynamic, so we'll manipulate it a little bit. We'll add a width. We'll add a width of 1044, then a height of something like 587. 587. Then we'll also have a class name that makes sure that it's always in full width and full height. Okay. In the future, I also add a class name. Class name here. And then I'll make sure that the width is 100% always, and make it an aspect ratio of 16/9. There we go. Then I'll just probably move this one since it's already with full. Now if you take a look at this, as you can see, it is now just like that. Now that's the figure done. Let's add more things here. I'll probably manipulate this one. Since this will be the title, I'll make it a font bold, and add a cursor pointer. And I'll change this one, anime title, just so we don't confuse it with anything else. There's actually another thing here that we're missing. Before we move towards the description and other parts, this one like camouflage with itself to the background, so we actually need to make that white. Same thing that we did with the navbar. So we'll just say bg slate, then 100/5 will minus its opacity, and now it will stand out. Probably add more padding to it as well as in the navbar. So I'll add mp-1 -2. Probably add margin top 4, and then in the mood field in the content list, I'll add, I think, yeah, that's fair. Let's make it a little more margin top on that. 3. Yeah, I think margin top 3 is fine. Okay, now let's add more details here. I'll put a p. This one is already a p tag, so I'll customize it and add a class name to it. Says and say something like text should be large, and then the font should be thin, and then all of the text need to be text left. So it starts here, right? And I'll probably add the same thing. I'll just go to the website. So I'll just copy this one here. So copy that and then paste it here as the description. Something like that for now. And then for the badges, these are the badges. So we'll go here and get this badge right here. We'll pick the badge that's above the card. We'll use the secondary one, the one that we made earlier. So pick something like the outline, then secondary, and then place it right here. Go back to the website. See that secondary? I'll probably add like 1, 2, and 3 just to like, instead of like going down like that, it needs to be like flex, bro. We'll just use a flex tag. We just use a flex tag here. Div class name flex, and then space, X on the two axis on the that part here, Control X, Control V. And then for this part, we'll add 3 buttons. Oh wait, we also need a synopsis or like the description. So P tag, and then something like class name, and we'll have a margin top of 3. Then the font will be thin. Then description, something like that. Control C. No, just spam it for now to know what it looks like. Maybe not so much. Something like this one, yeah. Something like that. We'll get this button right here. We'll delete this button right here since we already have like a dynamic button that we're gonna use. And then change the tag speed to be flex. We'll make this one flex. Then justify between. So that way it's equally spaced between. Then import the button that we made as a component earlier. Again, so button. So as an object, should dynamically be like that. Add like 3 here. So 1, 3. Okay. I think I'll remove discard actions. I think that's the thing that's messing it up. I see the error, guys. So you just have to put, instead of curly braces here, you make it like this. Yeah. Okay. So for the mood filter, guys, just the curly braces here in the violet one. Make sure that it's like rounded curly brace, not curly brace like that. So we don't have to use the return tag. So my fault. Just remove that. Then go back to the button. Remove the W fuel here that was earlier. So yeah. My bad, my bad. So let's go back here in the content, and then let's add a class name. Actually not class name since we don't need it anymore. Let's add text, which is back. Then this one will be text. This one will be hi. This one will have a text. This one is next. We'll also get the emoji right here. This one. And this one. Pretty sure that's done, right? Okay, looks good so far. Now let's get the footer here. So footer, I'll rename this one. Footer.jsx. Then you know the drill. Export default function, footer, then return, then this one, then a bracket tag. Now I'll get a footer here in DaisyUI. I'll probably pick something like this, something minimal. Then probably base 100. Right here, I have the JSX. Let's get that one. Footer. There we go. Right there. I'm gonna change the footer to something else. Made by my name. And then I'll probably add like a tag. So that way, if they click my name, they will be redirected somewhere, or maybe your portfolio, something like that. Control X here. Control V properly a little bit. And href would be the like double. If you're wondering why like in this part there's like no space in between, you can just add an invisible character. That's like, that will be considered as one. This is the invisible character right here. It's and sign and B then SP. As you can see, we navigate down. There we go, right here. But I also want it to be like maybe an active tab or something like that. So I'll add a class name. Class name of text primary, then text primary, then make it an underline. I'll probably, for example, I'll lead it to this website, for example. So I'll just go back here. That's it. There we go. We are redirected. And of course, we want it to be in a new tag. So we'll add target, then underscore blank. Okay, that's all of the components done. But obviously, this will not always be showing here. We will have the tags here. This one is hidden. This one is the only thing that's being shown. And this will be hidden whenever this is active, right? So that's where the functions come in. All right, guys. Now that we're done with the front end, now let's go with the back end. All right, now let's go back to our code here. cd dot dot for now. Then let's take a look at what we need to do right as of right now. So the first thing that we need to do is to first update our navbar dynamically. Now this won't be in like this will be here like later on, but I want you to have it right now. So the first step would be to update the navbar. So it takes on back, click and selected mode, selected mode. Okay. And then based on that move, this part will be displayed. All right. This is just conditional rendering for now. I know it doesn't exist yet, but later on we'll pass in parameters here and this will be rendered automatically. So we don't have to like worry about it. So anime to mood to anime. All right, nice. Then I want you to use this on click, copy this on click property, and you will put it right here on this button. Whenever there's like we click on this part, on click prop will be triggered. At the same time, selected move will pass in here. This is the dynamic part of the website, which is this part right here, which is this part right here. So this one is dynamic. So every time we click on this, it will be like our back button. Okay, but let's try to like slowly compare and everything that's going on. I think that's it for now. It will just consider like conditionally render it. And then our next step would be to, I mean, we already got this one, right? So we already rendered it. Yeah, let's actually go there. So in the mood here, the mood part, take in a prop of something. And that prop would be the current selected genre, select the genre, and the toggle genre. Again, these are states that doesn't exist yet, but we will make them later on. It's just much easier to add them right now, so we don't have to go to the specific file right away. We will have like some sort of like a toggle here. Every time that this is passing through, this will also pass in an index of some sort. And then right after that, whenever the button is clicked, the key should be our index first, so that way it won't bother us in the freaking console log because you have to actually like have a specific key index whenever you use some sort of mapping. The next part would be the on click property, right? So we'll probably add it right here below this one. So on click will equivalent to the function. So this is an arrow function. It will basically like execute whatever function there is. Like so on click, toggle genre will take in the mode as well as the genre. It will take in these parameters. This is like a bit difficult right now, but basically, whenever we click on this one, so for example, we click on it, toggle mode, it will take in the current mood as well as the genre. So that way we can like play with it or like modify it as we see fit. So we do have the code right here. But before that, I want you to make a new component, content, content container that JSX. All right. Then export default function content, content container. Then we'll do something like this, then return, then something like that. Okay. Then what we'll do is to actually open our Postman. I mean, already we used it earlier, but you have to like use Postman here. Postman agent, right? Obviously, it won't open right now, but like it will probably be right here. Okay, let's try again. Just click on this icon, then click on Open Postman. And the API that we're going to be using is the Gcon API. You can just click on this right here. The Gcon here, Anime 4. So let's just go for it. Gcon API. Okay, this is the current website that we have as of right now. Okay. And you'll go to documentation. you can understand all of this, but as of right now, what we just need at the current moment is the part of anime, then anime search. This is basically the REST API that we're gonna do. So to better understand what's going on, we'll call this function. We'll add in a new workspace. So the JSON API, we're gonna add a new workspace and then copy this part all left, then anime, yeah, this anime search, then just get this URL right here, then just paste it. And as you can see right now, we are given back with the JSON file. And if we understand this even more, it will have like the type of pagination, the total count, 25 per page, and you will see all the listed anime right here. Okay, we got Cowboy Bebop, etc. And you can actually understand this even more. So for example, the thing that we want to get is like the most popular anime is our goal as of right now, since that's where we're trying to get. So we'll pass in a parameter here and type order by, and this is basing it right here. So order by, you can just copy paste it, order by, and then the popularity, which is right here. So popularity by, order by popularity, and then said that we'll have the current one, which is the Shingeki no Kyojin with Attack on Titan. So as you can see, the type of data that we are receiving is different. It's different from the previous one, which is just getting all the anime list. Now, what if we get something like by score? Since we want the most top rated one, we don't. A show can be popular, but at the same time, it can be trash. So using the minimum min score right here as a number criteria filter. So we can type minimum score of maybe we want something that has very high rated, something like 9.3, for example. So we'll send it. So you can see there's none. Now, what if you say something like 9? All right. We do have one which is a Full Metal Alchemist, and yeah, the Full Metal Alchemist. Maybe we'll try 9.1. Okay, so we got Soso no Frieren, very high rated anime. And as you can see, we can base it on our score filter can be our basis for our standard, right? Now we'll make it 7.5 at the current moment. You send it as that, and there we go, 7.5. And yeah, you can just play with this even more. You can even have a minimum amount of page by using this limit right here. Oh, this is just, yeah, the count or something like that. The limit, or yeah, that is the limit. So let's try limit our page by just showing one anime. As you can see, we have count one. How do we implement this into our code? I want you to first install Axios. So npmi Axios. And based on our logic right here, what we first want to do is to get all the listed anime genre, right? Since these are all just basically genre drop downs. So let's start with that. And let's go back to our gcon. Since we already know how to get like the anime, we'll use that later. But for now, let's just use the genre. So I'll add a new workspace here. And this time I'll search for anime genre right here. So to get it, just copy this URL, based on that. And as you can see, we're presented with the MAL ID, my anime's list ID, and then the current genre name, which is like action, adventure, etc. And yeah, this is basically what we're gonna use. And to do that, since I already explained what use effect does, I would use effect, and then I would pass in two parameter right here, and then an arrow function that which would call Axios that get. If you're familiar with our method earlier, we're using get to get the current and genres, to get all the current genres, which is this one. So we'll just copy this, copy, then control V. All right. And we don't have Axios imported. So let's just do that. Just that. Import Axios from Axios. And after getting this, we're gonna have a use dot then, because this is like what will happen now after that. We'll take it a response, and that response is the thing that we're gonna use. But before that, we need to use a use state, because this is a variable that can change anytime. So we're gonna use, I'll just copy this one. So it's much faster. But obviously you have to type it, or maybe something else. So you just have to put it here. And then we need to use set genre. then right here, then we're gonna get it to be set equivalent to that response.data.data. If you're confused, what's happening basically is after this call in our analogy earlier on, if this is like the food, then this will be like the waiter setting that order into like, oh, ready up, something like that. Then this part right here, the that error or the catch would be the part wherein we will catch the obvious errors. This then console error. Then it would say something like failed to fetch animations. And then this will take in a state which is something like this, an empty array. But what if you just want to like see what's going on underneath the hood? You can try to console.log all the genres, something like that, and then run npm run dev. Actually, yeah, that's where we can actually console log it because this is like a map of some sort. Like see what's going on. You can also just, like I don't know, like console log the response, console.log the response, not setting it, something like that. Oh, I think this error is right here. So use state port. All right, guys. It's actually not console login because we have to import it first. So container, container right here. Then this part should fetch all the genres. There we go. So you have to actually import it first here in the app.jsx before we console log it. But yeah, as you can see, the function works. All right, so change this one. And now we actually want to set it to those genres. Now the next step is what we did earlier, which we already did, which is the part of actually getting the API calls to filter. And since we already kind of understand what's going on under the hood, let's just try to call it. So I will first set a use state here. And the first one will be this loading one. And another state for error. I'll just put a comment here said fetch genres. The next step would be to get all the anime, right? That we filtered right here. So this is dynamically filtered, but get all of those anime and then pass in the genre dynamically based on the user input. But before that, let's try to fetch it first. So I'll use the use effect. This one's the fetch anime list. This one is the use effect. Again, like an arrow function right here. Right, something like that. Should I'm gonna just put it right here so it's much cleaner. And then I'll use something like before anything else, I will set the error to null, right? Then I will set loading to true since this might take a while, maybe like 2 seconds, 3 seconds sometimes. So we have to actually pass it in. And then using this parameter, which is the normal one, without all of this, without the keys, just gonna copy it, control V on it, using the Axios, is that get. But before we do that, there are some parameters that we have to actually fetch it for, right? And these are like the order by, the minimum score. And to do that, we just have to pass in here an object. So add a comma here. And the parameters are this following here that we test early on. So we got like the parameters, which are order by, and then popularity, popularity, then sort, ascending. I'm just gonna copy all of those conditions so it's much faster with that one. Make sure this one is curly braces. There we go. Ascending, and then we get the limit, right? And we get the minimum score, which is 7.5. Then we get we also get the page, which is like how many page, and this one is like the current page, etc. It's basically an identifier of whether what page are we in, so we can like go to the next page, something like that. And next up, if you look at this documentary right here, it says that unapproved values. So we don't actually want to pass it to get all of those. So we're also gonna pass this into unapproved will be false. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some sort of a conditional statement to add more to add the genre, right? So if select the genre, select the genres, which is this one. Yeah, let's make it first. This is the user selected genres right here. At the start, obviously it will be empty, but as it fills up, like for example, I click on this one, the chill one. So it will pass it in as a chill attribute, and then I will get it from here to there. So yeah, that's how it works. So now I have it. It's three dots only. So if this includes something like the high rated, they are customized formal condition, which is currently right here in the not in the SRC, but in the assets, which is the mood here. So we'll copy this one. This like a customize, like if the specific phrase come up, we'll have some sort of condition. If you're confused about this an if else, I what I call this like another conditional. So if you hover over it, accept word, etc., something like that. But it's basically conditional. So if it has that selected genre range, it will then condition it even more to be the specific. Like if this one is true, then it will run this part. Okay. But else it will select another genre. But let's first start with that. So start date will be this part right here. Then new, then date, then dot get full year. Then I'll just remove this one. This parts. What the hell? Alright. Then we'll add another part which is oh that's just one. So I'll remove this. No, I need that part. Which is the current year. I like the start of the year. If you're wondering what is this parameter, it's just basically be adding here. So you just put start date, for example, key and start date 2024, then slash 0101, which is the start of the year, and just filter it. We get the new anime, which is this one is like Orodaka level Naken, which is like the soul leveling one, which is a new anime part. Then we probably have later like the dun dun, etc. Something like that. So this is like it will get like the current anime of the year, current top rated anime of the year. Else, if this part is false, it will run something like the selected genres dot length. It will identify whether if this has value or not. Let's say for example, selected genres I haven't clicked on selected genres yet, so obviously it will be zero. But if I click on it to on one of it, it will be set to whatever genre that is because we're gonna use toggle later on, and that will be the length. So it will be length one, length two, something like that. Just length one, since there's like it's based in our key value pairs. Then I'll add another ternary here and say, oh, what if this is true? So I'll add another genres, and this is like I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this, guys. So this is just another key right here. So genres, I'll say something like right. So we'll pass in here a genre, which will be added here, and then it will filter it, including that one. Then we'll say something like selected genres, and then dot join to get like as a string. Then join, then this part. Then if like if that's not true, and it will just return nothing. Then a closing tag, which is right here. Oh, we're actually missing another one here. So we're missing a this tag and this tag right there. And this one is for the use effect. This for this part access right here. So what would happen? Same thing with this one. So we have this then catch, control C on that, control V on that. This response will be set to the anime list, which is the thing that will be rendered. So I'll add that as a use state. So I'll add here anime list. Then right here, I'll change this part to set genre to filter fetch AnimeList, something like that. And then let's say all of that is really like it's done right now. It will finally, this is like the part of it's like, oh, it's done catching it, right? It will set it, but then it has to have another condition which like finalize if like all of it is rendered. So if everything is rendered, we can show it to the viewer, set loading into false, something like that. Because it will no longer be like true since it's like it's done calling it. But just like earlier in my example, we have to pass in a reusable component here, like some sort of every time we call it, it will actually like call. But as we've added the mood filter button here, we're gonna be clicking on this like twice or more than that. So it's not just on load. This part is on load because we'll only get it once. But this part is we'll get it depending on the user input. So to do that, I'll add here, instead of adding an empty array, I'll first pass in the page so we know what page we are currently. Then I will pass in a selected genres, right? Which is this thing that we've returned. So for example, I clicked on for example, I click on the action button. Okay, I'm done with that. I go back and then I'll click on the adventure button this time, like I'm feeling a or maybe the unafraid button because I'm not like I want to watch scary stuff. So that will be like on demand. And then we also need some sort of like page site. So we need to set our page. So let's just add here this page. On return, it will set this page to whatever the page that's being returned. So for example, it's just one, then one here, but that's the current state. And then for example, there's another page here. So this is now page two. I updated to page two. So it will start from page two instead of page one. This part right here. Then I'll call it again. It increments from page to one to three or something like that. So this part will go inside here. Then the selected genres will go inside here, changing its values depending on the user update. I hope it's clear. But we obviously, I mean, you can test this one, but I don't think, yeah, it will load an error as of the moment because we need to pass in the actual genre, right? Because currently it's empty and it's not passing in any moods or anything like that. It's just passing in an empty array and it can't find it, so it's returning nothing, which is this brackets right here. So to do that, we'll just use a toggle genre constant, genre toggle that will change the state when whatever the user input is. Toggle genre is equivalent to the mood. Now, if we base it right here, we already have what we need, which is the mood name. So it'll take in the mood name right here and the genre. So mood name and genre name. And then we have an arrow function right here. Then selected genres. So we're gonna set selected genres to whatever the user input is, depending on this, right? So since it's a kill value pair, we can get the previous value of that, and then if genre name is equivalent to the this one, the part of high rated anime this year, I'll just copy it. If this is equivalent to this one, we'll just render it and return something like the previous dot includes genre name, then else it will filter it based on that condition, which is we put it right here. It will add this edition, which is like the highlighted anime this year. So it will set it. It will have this condition if we pass it in here. So like it will first go to this filter and says, oh, so this is the value. It will execute this one. So it will include it as well. The next part will be to add a conditional statement and then add a previous dot filter, then item. Then if you go to that next item, and if that item is not equivalent to the genre name, we'll just render something else. Right. So this is like the else. So else it will get like the previews, then genre name, and then what else? What if that's not a condition? So we'll just add another constant, but this time this is the genre ID because we know it's not the conditional of the high rated anime this year, so we actually need to get the genre ID of that. Then genres dot find. It will look for similar genre name depending on the genres that we get here from the anime list. So genre here, genres that find genre. Then this part should be the genre dot name. Okay. Then it's equivalent to the genre name. It will then be set to the mal ID. MyAnimeList ID, which is we know based on the current data earlier, right here, which is this part, like the ID of that specific genre. Then it will return something like genre ID that if that is like it will have another conditional, right? So if there's a genre ID that returned from this one, since it actually exists, then it will first get all the previous values, then includes the genre ID, which is the mal ID, genre ID. And then if that is true, then it will filter it, filter, filter. So we first get the ID. Then after getting the ID, we'll get something like the ID again. But if it's not equivalent to that, we'll pass in a condition. We'll pass in a condition, which is the previous genre ID. As well as that one. Then, yeah, something like that. Else, it will just get the previous value. I know this is very confusing, but just take the time to like understand this part. So this is the conditional. So if this is true, this will happen. Then else this one and then this one. Okay. So if the first of all, if this is true, wait, there's an error right here. So first of all, if it returns true, then it will filter it here. Then okay, if that is true, it will filter it here. Okay, if that is not true yet, then it will filter here. But else, it will just take the normal item without passing in the genre ID. Right? The next part is we have to set the page to 1 because this logic here is here because you might be browsing the first one like action already on second page. So I closed it. So we need to reset it whenever we click the mood, a new mood again. So it will start on page 1, not on like a random page or something. So set to page 1. And then we also need some sort of like conditional. So whenever like the state of the anime should be hidden at some point. Let's go back. So for example, this one will show and hide that button, right? And this one will show again. So that's this toggler will also function some sort of like a show or a hide button for the content of the anime. So I'll put it here. I'll put a new state, which is the show anime content is equivalent to false at first. All right, I'll paste it there. If it has that toggler, it will open it again. We'll just render it conditionally later on. I'll just copy it. Then we also need to know what type of mood that we're getting because at this part, when we select on it, we have this like nostalgic stuff here, right? So we know that it's nostalgic, but if the other one, so this one is cheerful, so it's dependent on like it's dynamic, whatever button that we toggle it on, right? And that's the function that we need to implement. So and to do that, we'll just add another state. I'll use the selected mood state, which is currently blank at at the current moment, right? And then it should change right after we selected the mood. Something like right here. is equivalent to that. Oh, with this has to be 3 times. I forgot another part here. This one should have a dot mul ID. Okay, because it has to like. So for example, this one is like action that mul ID or something like that. So you have to know it. And then this one may be mul or two because this is an equivalent key value pair. Okay, we're getting some error reference. I mean, we already have it, and these are just all used state. One more thing that we need to do is to implement it here in the actual anime container, right? Because it's not showing yet. What I'll do is import the mood container first, the mood filter, and try to get all the things that available there. So mood filter slash dot, and then like I said, we need to pass in the props here. What are those props? The first prop is the selected genres and the toggler. So selected genres. Okay, nice. See that shit? It's auto import since we already defined what type of thing that we're gonna get. This one is selected mood. Nice. Something like selected mood right here. Now that's done. And then this will only show if the show anime content is true. So we'll add a conditional anime content. So this end is a like kind of like alternate iterator. So if this is not true, then this will not render. But if this is false or something like that, then it will render. Yeah. So if this is false, it will render. But if else, this part will render instead. So show make content and so we'll also pass in this part right here. Oh, it's contentless, pala. Content list. There we go. Then we'll pass in here the following. The first one is obviously the four things, which is the loading error and then the anime list. This is we know that for sure is actually here. Then the next up is the how much page we're on. Now let's try to go to content page, content list, and actually dynamically render everything that's like going on there. Let's try to map it. So we'll put it in here. I'll get it here in the content container, then copy it here, copy, then paste, add curly brace, then paste. Yeah, let's just remove this part as well, this part as well, this part as well. Very nice. And then we'll use it obviously. So we need to map the this anime list to show it. So I'll just create a very simple. Oh, we need to put it inside the JavaScript. So JavaScript anime list, then map dot map, and then we'll take in a anime and then the index. All right, and then an arrow function that would call it and a closing tag. We need another one here, and then we'll pass in here as a div that has a key, right? And it will be an index, so there won't be an error. Then we'll get an H1. This is just for testing. We'll make it anime.title. So anime.title. So we know that it's rendering. We check here. We should see all of it. Okay, there's an error. Stroke width. We don't want that. That's not the error part. Undefined reading map. Right. So the error was this was here. So I'll remove it. Okay. And just keep this code part right here. Hopefully that works fine. So remove that part, and then we also check more errors. It says here, toggle genre is not a function. On click. So let's go back. Content container. Oh wait, I think we need to pass in a function because mood name is not being used here. Okay, then mood name. What else? arrow function, selected genre. Oh, okay. The problem was it's not here. So we need to pass in here the toggle genre function. Okay. So that's two problems solved. Let's refresh. It's because since we're console logging it, let's go back here. The problem is the fact that we are not setting it to the right object. So let's go back here in the content container. Since we were like debugging it earlier, so I was looking for the what's wrong. And this part is console logging it instead of actually setting it. See this one, the anime list part. So let's say this one is anime list. So it should be set. Set anime here, set anime list. That's why it's not being called. Let's try again. There we go. Now we got Shigatsuwa no Uso, which is your line April, and this one is the competitive one. Right. Let's test this one again. It was working. Romantic. Okay. We still but it's somehow like displaying it. I think that's okay for now. Let's add another part here, which is the back button using the navbar. Let's skip that one for now, and you know, as long as like it works, since this is just testing. Let's try to add it here, a new one, which is the navbar. Navbar. And it will pass in the selected mood. So we have like a visual feedback on what's going on. I'll remove that navbar here. Navbar, that here. Then navbar should be right here, right? Navbar, navbar, and then the footer should be the footer. There we go. The navbar in the navbar, yeah, in the navbar, we'll add an on back function, on back click function. Then it should handle. Oh wait, we don't have a mid function yet, I think. Yeah, let's make that function. So we need a constant handle back button. So constant handle back button click. Then text on the anime ID here. ID and then set show anime content to false. So we'll go back to it. Then set selected genres to something like blank. So that way we don't have it. Then it should also select selected mode to none. There we go. So we'll use it here. On back click is this part, which is the handle back button click. So let's try. Right, that's not the right one. If you click on this, okay, I think we need to set genres to like an empty one. So we have like, yeah, we need more. We need more function here. We also need to like pass in the selected mood. So we already set that here. Let's check what mood is like being passed in. Set selected mood. Oh wait, selected mode. Right, nostalgic. So it does getting passed in. Okay, it's not being removed. Cheerful. Okay. Humorous. So the mood part is not being reset. Anyway, let's handle the next page. Constant handle. Next page. It's equivalent to this one. Set page. Set page. Then B plus one. Then constant handle prev page. Then this one. Function. Then set page. Then the current page, and then take in the math that, and then it has a max of p minus 1. Then this should take in a 1 as well. So right here, then 1. Then we should pass it in the anime list button right here. Content list pala. Handle click on the next page. Then handle next page. Wait, that's hand next page. It's supposed to be handle. The next page. This part is the handle brief page. And in the content list, let's set this part into the handle next page. I'll just copy paste it right here. This one. Then copy. Click on this one. Control V. Minimize on that. Oh my god, man. There. Then if you look at this one. Okay. Now let's add the on click button to see if it works. Just a testing. So button. Then on click. Let's put it outside. So button. And okay, nice. And then on click, should click on handle next page. Then this one's next. Control C, Control V, prev, handle prev right here. Then go back here, refresh, click on this one, and test if it's working. Previous next page. But as you can see, it works. It does change the order. I think let's try to implement it actually here. So on click, Control X and Control V on this one. Next. So this is the previous page. This part is the next page. Right here. Next page. Let's test it one more time. Nostalgic, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Jojo, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Mugen Train. So let's go back. We got Jojo and we have Kimetsu no Yaiba. Right, so we're getting somewhere. The next part would be we need to be able to hide this anime that we don't want. So without constant handle hide click, and then it will pass in anime ID, and then after that it will set hidden anime. Oh, we actually this is a wait. Do we have this? I don't think we have this state. Yeah, let's add the state. This part to this part. Constant. Okay, nice. This will be a set of anime that's like hidden. So we will set whatever that's being clicked into that current into this anime ID right here. So it will take the previous one, which are like the concurrent one. For example, I add this one. For example, I add One Punch Man to our hide list, and then I hid No Game No Life as well. So it will take whatever that previous function is. So that's like One Punch Man, then the No Game No Life to add another one, and that will be what's inside that function. And then I will have a curly brace here and a constant that updates the set to get the updated set, which is currently the new set with the previous values. All right, just think of it that's the previous values. It's like the previous array. So it's like it auto saves, like an auto append, something like that. Then it will take that updated set. Then that has the anime ID here. Then if that is true, updated set will remove, will delete pala. Will delete it. My ID here. And then if the updated is like the else condition to add it, then anime ID will be added right here. Alright, and then it will return unupdated set. Updated. Alright. Now we also want to filter it depending on those things, right? And this part will be the we need to know we need to like some sort of filter it. So if AnimeList dot length is -1, then we'll add those hidden anime, and then it will get the index of that anime ID, and then it will auto skip it. that is what this function is for. So it will handle with anime ID is not defined. It has to be inside this handle click. So Control X, it should be inside here. So that way, every time we click on it, it will auto page turn. That's what this function does. So add ID. Then if then handle next page, right? So every time that function runs, like for example, oh, it will check this part right here should not be here, so it will extend the hidden anime, and then it will get the index of that hidden anime ID, and then it will filter it and turn it to the next page automatically. After the anime list here, we'll also add the hide function. So hidden anime will be equivalent to the hidden anime, which is the function that we pass in. So obviously we need to pass it in here as well. So hidden anime right there. Now we need to actually use it. For now, we'll here in the anime list, I'll add some sort of like a constant that automatically filters it. Since we don't want to show it, right? It will be like what would we want to show instead of the details of the anime. Obviously, we want to show like something like, oh, this is anime is hidden or something like that. So we need to have like the filtered anime list, which is the anime list. Then it will filter all the anime one by one, then check if it doesn't have that hidden anime there, then specific one, which is the mal ID, it will filter those that are not hidden. Okay, this is a not operator, so not hidden, so that will be the filtered anime list. So we'll just type here filtered anime list. That's it. Okay, let's go back here. All right, we need a hide button. So I'll go back here. Let's have a handle hide click that will get the handle hide click right there. Then obviously we don't have the hidden one, right? This is the part. This is the hidden anime though. Okay, so I forgot a keyword right here because it's getting treated as a function. So it's supposed to be .has since it's a set, right? So let's check it. Right, this one. Okay, nice. Let's hide Kimetsu no Yaiba. Oh wait, there's no hide button yet. Alright, let's fix that. On click. We do need, I think, that ID of that. So just put it right here for now. Click on the this one. It's an empty bracket here. Right, that. Control X, Control V. Next part here is to add an on click property. Then every time that's getting clicked, we'll pass in the handle hide click, handle hide click, and we'll pass in the anime, then dot mal ID, which is the current ID that we're viewing, right? Since we can see the mal ID right here, the title, etc. That's it. Nostalgic. I'll just hide this one. Oh, this one. Wait, what part? Wait. Uh-huh. Let's see if it's console logging that. Let's say console log. Hiding anime ID. Okay, let's also view the anime ID actually. Then p tag is the anime.mal ID. There we go. So the miner is 1649. Let's console log it, inspect, hide it right now. Oh, okay, it's error. There's an error again. So hide it. Oh, handle hide click is not defined. Oh, yeah, it's not defined here. So let's type it here. Handle hide click. Okay, now hidden anime 5114. If you go back here, then check on cheerful 5114 is not supposed to be hidden. Okay, now let's render it so that it doesn't show it. So to work it simply, we just use the conditional, something like filtered anime list length will be 0, then else it would render something like that. Oh, not yet. There we go. Then the fee tag is anime is hidden, and then else it will filter it. Okay, let's remove this part, then this another part right here. Right, so if it's part of it, it should not be rendered now. So that's the conditional rendering, cheerful. Okay, let's hide this one. Right, so it was, yeah, let's hide. Wait, how do we hide? Okay, it's currently hidden. It's has, not had. It's supposed to be has. That's just one letter. Here, let's try again. Okay, hide. Oh, this anime is hidden. Oh my god, bro. Let's actually just, just chill for now. Let's just try to like apply this part to the actual code. Now let's apply these things here in the actual thing right here. So I'll probably get this part, extend this one, make it bigger, and then I will get all of, oh, not probably all of that, maybe like starting with the figure. So I'll go get the figure, start with the figure, then end like the little buttons here. Yeah, let's not, so control cut, then control V. Okay, nice, and then cut this one, cut, then control V. All right, this one should be outside because this is a card, right? And then I want to like, let's remove this part for now. I want to use this hide button. Yeah, just like that. I want to get this hide function right here. Control X, Control V, right? And then instead of showing this one, I need to like have some sort of like a conditional here that's like better looking. So I'll probably use a div tag for that. I'll use another div just to display it a little nicer. So class name is equivalent to padding 5 just to add more spacing. And then the p tag is hidden. Okay, and then we'll add the another div probably. That's same as this one, that justify flex in between. Actually, just the same as this one. But uh, there we go. But instead of the hide button, I'll remove it because we do need. Oh, the function is weird. It's supposed to be right here. So right there, Control X on that. Control V on this. Remove this one. Alright, nice. And then after that's done, let's try to check it again. Let's check it. Okay, nice. It should look like something like this. And this part should still render. Obviously, it's not dynamic yet. We're just displaying the hello world, and but we are getting the data, and we do have this smooth cheerful as well. But that part is not working, so I'll try to like fix it. So I'll go to that one, and then I'll get this part with the navbar because we need to like reset it every time. Mode to anime. selected mode, sit through, selected mode. Let's just remove this part. Mode to anime, but we need to remove that. We need to reset it every time we toggle it. So let's go to content container. I'm pretty sure there's a part here where we reset it. I think they add this one. So yeah, we need this one to be set selected mode to 0. Selected genres should be, yeah, should be set selected genres. Should also be this one right here. So if you refresh, now it's moved to anime. We click on that, click on back. Now it's moved to anime. Okay, now let's just try to like make this one responsive, right? Like make it dynamic pala. Now let's go back in our um content container here, and we're gonna get all this key part right here. What the thing that only thing that we'll keep here is probably um the ID, the mal ID. So we'll control X on this div. We'll pass it in here since this will be like the key, our key right here. So just backspace on that. Then just click on this one. Apart from that, let's update this part first, the anime title. So let's say something like anime dot title. There we go. Should display it right now. Kimetsu no Yaiba. Jojo no Kimio no Boken. Obviously, we'll add here like the year, the number of episode, and the current star. So I'll do just that. And here, are we recording? Yep, we're recording. So here I'll just type something like this part is like anime dot aired. What type did they? What year did they aired? And then that from like what's the starting, and then it will get a new date, which is it will just filter it to get the current year instead of getting like the exact year of it aired. So it start like from where, like from when. So it will start from the beginning, and then it will get that full year. Get full year should be like this one, and then this one, and a conditional. Obviously, if it's not showing something like I don't know, like n slash a. Okay, then I'm gonna use this blank space since we need like space right now, and HTML doesn't read it, so I'll just use this one. And backspace, that should read it as space. And I'll control C and add it here as well. This part will be if there's like, I'll just render it. So anime that episodes, then question mark, then it will be an A. There's none. Then it will just be, well, add the label of episode, right? I'll copy this one and add another one, which is the star, which is the anime score. Anime that score. Then I'll enter it. Then I'll control C on this. Click on enter here. And then I'll obviously get the popularity. So top, then anime dot popularity. Right, something like that. We should render now. Okay, so we got 2019 episode, and we go. Right. And then we need to like for loop on this one, like map it. So um it's named anime the genre. So the type of genre that is. Since it's an array, we're gonna map it. If there is one, we're gonna take it a function, another function, which is the genre, then index, and it will get in a function, an arrow function, and then should take in a div tag. Then we're gonna put the key here. So key is equivalent to index, and then class name is equivalent to probably the one earlier that I deleted. I don't know why I deleted, but I'll just copy it from somewhere from earlier. I'm too lazy, but yeah, just like that. It's the thing that I deleted earlier. So just copy the class of that, and then we'll click on genre.name to generate all of it. Then obviously we'll have, this is the, if it's like, if it's empty, this is like the or. I think it's like the or, right? Parang it's a condition of some sort. But yeah, like something like that. And then of course we'll copy this one as well. Control C, then class name first, then dot part, then control V. Then it would say something like n/a, which is not applicable. Okay, that's, wait, tama pa? Yeah, we're wrong. Something's wrong here. It's genres. There we go. It's plural form. Obviously, we have the synopsis right here. So I'll just type something like um anime dot synopsis dot split. Should I make the make it bigger here? Split synopsis as lib. It will just get the first sentence, which is dot, which is separated by dot, and the index is 0, so just the first one. Then it will add a dot to it, the finish of the sentence, because we actually remove it. So it will just be, that's like the indicator. So for example, if there's a sentence here, it will be get this first dot, but it will disappear, then we'll add it back. So that's the logic. And yeah, this far so good. I think that's it so far. I mean, obviously we haven't, everything works except for the trailer. Oh, as well as the back button. So back button doesn't work. Handle priv page. Handle priv page. It's right here. Okay, let's try to like see what's going on there. Okay, let's update this part. So handle that line. It's equivalent to the hidden line index of anime ID. It will go to the next page. We'll handle that. And then this max here, make sure that it doesn't go back to 0, right? It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't set to 0. So it makes sure that it's always positive. Yeah, so things in the previews, which is like the P. Yeah, the pre -1. Again, let's test it. Okay. Full Metal Alchemist. Okay, nice, it works. It works now. Let's hide Hunter x Hunter. Let's go back to cheerful. See Hunter x Hunter. As you can see, anime is now hidden. Now this part, we're almost done. We just need the last part, which is the rendering of the trailer. So if we look at that, so trailer here in the content list, probably this one right here, the iframe. Yeah, the iframe. So we'll remove this one. Actually, not. Let's not remove all of it. We'll just modify it to suit our needs. What we need is to get the SRC, and then the title to be different, and allow full screen, just reference, picture. Well, this one. So we'll change the title. Instead of that one, we'll make it anime. Yeah, anime the title. Mm, something like a bracket first. Then we'll use this one. Something like that. Then dollar sign. And then with something like this. Anime title trailer. And then add a trailer. Trailer right here. Then instead of this one, we'll use obviously use the SRC. Made dot trailer dot embed URL. Because we needed to play trailer dot embed URL. Got some syntax error probably. I don't know what's the syntax error here. Let's see. It's not. I think that's. So we're looking for the iframe, but is supposed to be iframe. Here we go. Let's check it again. This one. Okay. Refresh. Nostalgic. Okay, nice. Type error. Type error. Let's go. What part here? We do have a closing tag to iframe now. Let's write this. It's this one. It's embedded that URL. Is it embed that URL or embed URL? Yeah, it's underscore. There's no such thing as that. So let's check it again. There we go. We have it right there. Schemas na Yaiba. Ever since that, etc. Then next, Jojo Bizarre Adventure. Let's try to hide it. So click on hide. It's hidden. Then I'll click on nostalgic again. Click on nostalgic and then I'll click on next. This one is hidden still. Okay, nice. And then all right, I think that's so far so good. I'll just change the mood here to instead of fear of missing out, I'll just make it FOMO. It's much shorter. I kind of like it, this one. So this one we got soul leveling, which just came out this year. Right, nice. I'll actually change the padding bottom here. So I'll go to content container probably. No, content list. Then right here, so I'll add empty3 margin top something. Yeah, there we go. That's done and done. Everything works so far, and this is 100% responsive, I believe. Yeah, this is for the front end. And now it's time to actually upload it. Let's actually upload it in Vercel. So I'll just control C in here. Okay. Before we upload it to Vercel, we have to actually upload it in GitHub first. So I would git init. If you don't have GitHub, you just have to install to register to GitHub first and go to git download something like that. Download this one. Then after you download it, I want you to go in your PowerShell and change it to git bash. This one, git bash default. It must be PowerShell for some of you guys, and that just use GitHub. It should turn green when you say git init if you have it installed. Then I'll go right here and I'll make a new GitHub repo. New repo right here. I'll just click on private, and this one is how to. This one is the how to move to anime, something like that, and then create this new repository. Then I want you to add this one, this game to your terminal, something like that, and then type something like git add all. Actually before that we'll make a a new one, a new git ignore. We already have a git ignore here. We'll go to git ignore React JS. Get this one. Control C. Then we'll also get the git ignore for Tailwind. This is just to help them get their troubles out. There we go. So we have more space. Then, oh shit, it's not supposed to be here. I'll just control C. Then I want you to type git add and then space then dot. Then I want you to type something like git commit um deployment time enter. Okay, nice. And then I want you to run this command git push origin. It could be main or master depending on your repo here. So git push u origin master in my case. Then it should push it right here. There we go. Then for the deployment, we'll use Vercel. So go to Vercel. Right. Make sure you have it in here. Let's refresh it. So now you have it in GitHub. We'll add a new project. And I'll use this one, the how to move anime. You can change this one, the part of this SVG part. Just go to index.html and navigate. Go to index.html and navigate here and change the part of the byte.svg, but I'm not gonna be bothered for doing that. You can just do it in your own. Just add it in the public folder right here. Just change it, and you can also change the name to byte.wrap. But I'll just keep it as is, and I'll import it. So import, and we're not gonna use anything here. But if you're using environment variable, for example, just copy paste it here, whatever the content of your environment variables is, and then deploy it. Click on deploy. Wait for it a little bit. Expand on this just to see if there's any error that you missed. So it will say something like that: running Vercel build, installing dependencies. Okay, it says DaisyUI, and we should have it right here. Okay, and as you can see, the repository here is how to move to anime. And if you look at here, byte.react, which is exactly the same website that I made free of charge right here. Look at that. We have all of it. Chill. We got that one. Yeah, if that one, right? It would just, if there's no trailer, it would say for example, rebellious would say nothing. Obviously perfect. Absolutely perfect. You know, it's like it's nothing there. You can actually change this one to like whatever you want. I forgot this part, pero actually let's fix it. So content here, and if it's hidden, it should say if like the trailer, if there's no trailer. Okay. So I would type here something like anime dot trailer is not in existing. Does it exist? And if it is, embed URL. If it does exist, it's the ternary operator. It will render this part, pero else it will just render this part. So you could type in here something like trailer not available. Wait, what's wrong? This one's supposed to be not curly braces, but round brace. Okay, make it round brace. There we go. Then put it right here. So else, so first the condition should be this one. What else should it should say something like um trailer does not exist, something like that. And if you want to update it in your GitHub, you can just easily open to your terminal. Just Control C and then git add. It'll automatically add the changes. Then git commit. Git commit pala muna. Oh, you should no git commit first, and then it says here update trailer rendering, something like that. And then one file change. You go to the side here, just type git add that all, and then git commit, git push origin master, which is this one. If it's main, just click on main. There we go. It should load a little bit, and it should redeploy. You go to the continued dashboard and look at this part. As you can see, it says yellow since it's building at the current moment. To update your production, push to main master branch and refresh this one. Go back to rebellious, and it says trailer does not exist, but it does exist somewhere. And if we can hide that, go back here, rebellious. As you can see, it's now hidden, but if we connects, you can view the other anime available. And yeah, that's all. If you guys like enjoy it, and if it's too complex, just go to the project below. And if you have other questions, just comment it down below. Yeah, thank you for watching till the end.